everybody. We're back to yet another episode of Let's Be Real podcast. Today, we are doing a very short episode because, all of us are busy. And while we record this, there's probably going to be an announcement of the Ballon d'Or nominees. So probably we're not going to be able to cover that. But I think today we want to cover a range of topics, including the recent announcement of the UEFA Player of the Year nominees. That includes Benzema, Courtois, and Kevin De Bruyne. So probably before we go over that, let's talk about the Super Cup. Farouk, I'll come to you first. Like, what was your experience of the Super Cup? Did you enjoy the game? Did it go as you planned for it to go?
Yeah, actually, it went even better than I planned because I was just thinking about Frankfurt were going to roll over and it was just going to be no challenge for the team. And to be honest, Frankfurt actually kept us on. I mean, I don't know if I can put the words rightly. It's that kind of situation whereby you don't want your players to be pushed too much, but then let them not be comfortable as well. So it was and I mean, it was a pretty good game, barring a couple of moments from Frolan Mendy where he misplaced the ball and, Courtois had to do Courtois things as usual. So yeah, other than that, it was a good game. It was a good preparation and a morale booster for the guys, before the season kicks off properly.
Yeah, for me, I remember reading one of the Frankfurt fans' opinions, because if you guys know that we did a podcast with the Frankfurt podcast before this one. But anyways, I was reading online some of the Frankfurt fans' opinions, and they were talking about how although against Bayern Munich they lost with a big score, but they could see that there was a huge class difference between how Real Madrid played and how Frankfurt played, because let's be honest, while Real Madrid are not the most expensive team, they aren't the most attacking team, so to speak, like say Bayern Munich. But when we dominate games, when we control games, I think there's nobody like Real Madrid. Casemiro was somebody who dominated the game. I think coming into the game, there were some question marks from certain sections of the Real Madrid fan base about Casemiro, but I think he did well. Sunet, if I may ask you, what is your expectation for Casemiro going into the season, especially with Tchouaméni coming in?
The real question is, when has there never been questions asked about Casemiro? It has always been asked, by myself, by everyone that we know. Basically, his the way he can wriggle out of a press, or how much he can improve his passing arsenal. It has always been a question. But you can see when teams test him to his strengths, he actually comes on top more often than not. There are clear deficiencies, of course, to his game, but when he's on it and the rest of the KCM, that is Modric and Kroos, are on it, you can expect master classes like what we saw on Wednesday. He barely gave anybody a sniff. Whenever he got a chance, he made a brilliant interception. He almost scored himself, I guess, in one play, if I'm not wrong.
A wonder goal. Yeah, it came off.
Yeah.
And he laid the assist on a plate for Alaba as well. Man is a colossus. And the rumors of him being maybe pushed out earlier, if you guys remember, there was slight rumors that he might be, forced out of the door or something like that. I don't know how much substance there is to it.
Yeah, there was a Brazilian news media that said that Casemiro was available for, let's say, 50 to 60 million euros. To me,
exactly.
Honestly, that sounds like hogwash. But anyways, moving on, I think
before you move on, I just want everyone to hear on record, Sunate said that Toni Kroos has legs.
Yeah, definitely. But then
he had legs on Wednesday.
Okay, so I think moving on from one Brazilian to another, somebody whose performances I think I personally had doubts about, and I'm sure you guys also shared some of my doubts, was Militao. But I think Farouk, he was pretty imperious in the game, right?
Definitely, man. Definitely, he was superb. Actually,
I think he got us talking shit. Maybe.
Actually, with the arrival of Rudiger and what is not, so everyone is just trying to find a weak link in the centre back pairing, and obviously because of the pedigree and the experience of David Alaba, everyone eventually tries to pin on my guy. And to be honest, no matter how much he gets shit from me from time to time, I think really I still maintain my statement that he is the best young centre back out there, I think, in my opinion. So I think he was really good in the game. He was I mean, that tackle summed it up, man. He literally just went into the tackle, and there was a spring and he just, flew up. I don't know even if that's possible. Like, man, he
How do you classify that motion as? Is it a fucking cartwheel or is it a somersault? I don't know how you.
Man, I mean, the physics I have learned so far, man, that's defied everything that the physics stands for, man. So I can't be the one to quantify that.
Yeah, I think that flip was pretty, that flip went viral on social media as well, because I think that was an exquisite display of physical strength, because I think not everybody can do that. Even if David Alaba had been there, he probably wouldn't have done that, So that's something that only Militao can do on our team. So I guess those were the best performers. Apart from that, David Alaba scored a key goal, and Benzema, as Benzema does, he scored a goal. But then one guy, I should say two guys we haven't spoken about are Fede Valverde and Vinicius. I think Vinicius showed some development compared to the last season, because I think his movements were more intelligent, more, decisive. Sunil, you were saying?
No, way more direct, right, Vinicius, and how he.
No, I mean, apart from being direct, I think last season his movements did not have purpose. Like, okay, did not have purpose is the wrong way of putting it. Let's say that his movements this game had more purpose. He was more intelligent about how he was moving and not just running. He was trying to take players on, using the drop of the shoulder, trying to take up intelligent positions. So I think that was something that impressed me. So Farouk, that, and talking about how Ancelotti used Fede Valverde, initially he was just on the wings, and then he brought him into the center to create a midfield overload. Like, what did you think about that?
I mean, to be honest, like, for Vinicius, like, it was really good to see those movements, you just alluded to. And actually, more important, during the year, watch along with you, I was saying to him, for me, what I want to look out in this season is that hopefully that Vinicius's previous season wasn't an anomaly, because we do know that Vinicius has, the trickery and the pace, beating off everyone and anything. The decision making has always been lacking. And last season, he went, I don't know, he took leaps and bounds, man, like in that area. So you could still see visibly in the game, like he was still, he came into his, he's still there in that, the 1-2s with Karim Benzema, getting into the right moment, and, the almost golazo as well. So it was really good to see. And coming to Fede, I mean, yeah, man, like, what can you say about Fede, man? That's the guy. He's, he's just a rocket man, man. Like, he's back defending, he's there attacking as well. I mean, obviously, we can compare him to like a bona fide wide winger. I mean, it will be very wrong to do that, to be honest. But he puts in the shifts, to be honest, and I think he's gonna make the position his own. Unfortunately, for players like Rodrigo, I think like Fede Valverde is the guy. And I mean, I see his future in the midfield, obviously, but I think for now, as long as the Bermuda Triangle remains, I think that's where he plays.
Yeah, I think even the Bermuda Triangle did well, right? So has already admitted
you know what, the Bermuda Triangle is gonna, thank Fede the most once they hang up their boots, especially, like how he has helped them,
Yeah, but given the fact that Toni Kroos got you to admit that he has legs, I think Toni Kroos did a pretty good job last game. So I think moving on, just to sum it up, Sunil, first game, first trophy. What are your emotions going into the first game of the season? Like, first actual game of the season. Let's put it that way.
Perfect way to start. I was slightly concerned by the Clásico. Like, obviously it was a first game, but eventually we grew on into the season and found more rhythm. Happy days, man. Happy days. Like Rudiger, Tchouaméni, they got their hands on their first competitive trophy and whatnot. So yeah, like more of the same. We have this never-ending want of trying to prove everyone wrong, and this is just the beginning. Again, Sunday is match day 1, so yeah, more of the same.
Yeah, I think before we move on, I think Farouk alluded to the fact that we had a watch along like over the week for the game, and I think we'll be doing these watch alongs like pretty as important games keep coming up. Probably we'll try and do more of these watch alongs. So if you guys want to join in, just remember to click and follow us on the social media, and we'll make an announcement whenever we're doing the next watch along. But then I think moving on, we move on to the next match today, that is Almeria. So Almeria is a team that hasn't been in the league for quite a while. They have won the league, they're coming back up, and I think they have been taken over by Arabian Sheikh. So this is the first Sheikh owned team in La Liga in a while. I think the last one was Malaga, but they're having a lot of financial troubles. So for Almeria, I think they haven't been in the league for a long time, so we don't really have much of an idea what to expect from them. But then their star players, Umar Sadiq, and is somebody that I think Farouk knows a lot about. So Farouk, I'll just let you talk about him.
Yeah, I mean, as you alluded to, like about Almeria, we don't have a lot of information to gauge the team because I personally don't watch the second division. But what I can say is that Almeria actually has always had very good Nigerian forwards. I do remember I can't remember what year, but I do know at the point in time while they were in the league the last time, they had Ike Chukwuche, and he was one hell of a striker as well. And now they have Umar Sadiq. So Umar Sadiq actually won the Golden Ball, which is award given to the best player at FIFA Under 17 World Cup. I can't remember which year. So that he was a kind of a big deal back in Nigeria, and he moved to Roma and things didn't work out, and he was been on loan here and there. And then he moved to Almeria last summer, and he scored goals here and there and brought them to the league. And yeah, now he's looking forward to replicating that in the top division. Hopefully things go well for him, but except against Real Madrid. So let's see what that does.
Yeah, except against Real Madrid. I think an interesting fact about the head-to-head matchup between Real Madrid and Almeria is the fact that Almeria have only beaten Real Madrid once, and I believe it was back in 2008. And somebody who scored that game was Alvaro Negredo, who was our own Canterano. So whenever you're playing against Canteranos, you can bet that they will score against us. But thankfully, I don't know if there's any Canterano in the Almeria lineup right now. If there is, we'd love to know about it from you in the comments. But then, Suned, first game of the season, Carlo Ancelotti said that he'll make some changes to the lineup. What in your opinion would be the ideal lineup for the game against Almeria?
Since it's very, very early days and it's kind of feeling out how the season is going to pan out, I would like to see Rudiger start. I would like to see Tchouaméni start. Tchouaméni, I think, is a big call. I don't think Carlo is that ballsy to put him straight up into the lineup. But I would ideally like to see Rudiger, Tchouaméni getting a run out, at least as a sub. And obviously KCM getting a much needed rest. They should be rotated very much whenever possible. And I think Carlo is going to be on it. And people like Rodrigo getting a run out, like even if you can give rest to people like Alaba or Militao, that'll be great again. Like as much rotation as possible.
Yeah, you alluded to this fact that there needs to be a lot of rotation, and I think rotation is important because this season we're going to be playing like every week almost. The whole schedule is compressed before the World Cup in the winter, and the Champions League draw is going to be soon, and I think even the Champions League is going to be held like in 8 weeks. They're going to play 6 games, so every midweek there's going to be a game almost, and it's going to be a busy schedule with the national break also coming in. There's still one international break, as much as we guys might hate it. So I think the Champions League draw would be soon. I believe it will be the week after, and something that will happen in the Champions League draw is the award for the UEFA's Best Player of the Year. And I guess we all have a single favorite, right? Or do we have diverging opinions on this fact?
Everybody has one favorite, right? Like who are you gonna choose against?
I mean, even Xavi Hernandez, man, has just one single person to choose, man. I mean, that says it all, man. No one can choose anyone else, man.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting fact, but Courtois is also there on the podium. I think Courtois, Karim Benzema, and Kevin De Bruyne are the 3 nominees. Like, are the 3 people who are on the podium right now. It was interesting to note the fact that Modric finished 5th in the votings and Vinicius finished 9th. I think all of us expected Vinicius to be higher. And then there's also the fact that Mo Salah and Sadio Mane, who at least we expected one of them to be on the podium, they aren't in the top 5. I think they're 6th and 7th, or maybe 8th. Is Mbappe also somewhere in between, ahead of Vinicius? So, are you guys satisfied with the fact that Kevin De Bruyne makes up the podium, or would you have preferred somebody else, maybe say Modric?
See, this might be a controversial opinion. Okay, I've had debate with plenty of my mates. Like they have put forward the question. Modric or KDB on their day. I say Modric. Modric single-handedly have taken Real Madrid out of graves that I've thought we don't stand a chance of getting out of. KDB on the other hand, you saw what happened in the second leg at Bernabeu. Man doesn't look fit. He came off. He had to be pulled off. So KDB, as good as a player he is, bro, every single Real Madrid player from last season's Champions League winning team needs to be higher, way higher than they are.
Farouk, do you agree with his opinion on Kevin De Bruyne? And do you agree with the placement of Vinicius at 9th?
Okay, so I will just, go in layman terms here. Like, so the point is, remove KDB from the Man City team. Do they do what they do last season? 100% yes, because they have done it in the past. Remove Modric from the Real Madrid team. You don't even just remove one single moment from Modric from the Real Madrid team, and we don't do what we did last season. Yeah. So, I mean, that sums it up totally. Like, without Modric, this doesn't happen. And to be honest, when I saw that, I just like, okay, this is just a bias somewhere. When you have just those people who are there on pedigree and, past glory. And I felt this was just it. Just like how similar to how Van Dijk is still living on past glory.
The funny thing is, Farouk, if you go through the comments on socials, Twitter, Instagram, they say this is Benzema's lucky season. Like how do you compare Benzema to Suarez or Lewandowski? Man has had one lucky season. That's what I pray for. This my campaign is going to continue. This vein of form that he is on right now, if he channel it into this season, especially early stages, and channel it past Christmas into the knockouts, you never know. 2 Ballon d'Ors back to back, inshallah. That's what we want.
Yeah, I think for Benzema to have a second go at the Ballon d'Or, he'll need to have the French team to win the World Cup, because I think winning the World Cup will go a long way for him to win the second Ballon d'Or. So I think I agree with you guys mostly. I think Modric should be higher. I think Vinicius should be higher, but I don't know. I just have a feeling the fact that Benzema took a lot of neutral votes and Real Madrid supporting votes. So probably that has somehow hindered, people like Modric and Vinicius, whereas Courtois maybe perhaps got some votes, So I think that probably hindered them, because at the end of the day, all these awards are voted upon. There isn't an objective metric, to use to measure impact and, to decide these awards. So it's just people's opinion. So at the end of the day, don't take them too seriously. But I think if our player wins it, if Benzema wins it, he'll have deserved it. And after a long time,
when Benzema wins it, not if.
Yeah,
when Benzema
wins it. Although there is some clamor amongst certain sections of Real Madrid fans for Courtois to win, because they think Benzema is a lock-on for Ballon d'Or. So yeah, they want to split the awards.
Actually, to be honest, I wouldn't deny. I haven't thought about so. I'll be like, let the man get this, and because for sure Benzema is going to win the Ballon d'Or. I also saw that. I actually thought about that when I first saw the list. I was like, okay, maybe should Courtois win this? I was like, nah, fuck it, let Benzema do it as well.
But I think something that we can promise, we can assume to be true is the fact that whenever Benzema wins the UEFA Player of the Year, or whenever he wins the Ballon d'Or, there's going to be a big party at the Bernabeu, because let's not forget, Karim Benzema was the signing that Florentino Perez bet a lot on. He's his favorite player on this team. Nothing can change that. And with him winning, I think Florentino Perez feels vindicated for supporting him through all these years. So I think there's going to be a very special party at the Bernabeu whenever Karim Benzema wins it. So I guess that's it for today's episode. We try to keep it short. We try to keep it sweet. Guys, do you have any closing thoughts before we wrap this up?
Just start the season on the right note. It'll be difficult, but I'm pretty confident in our team to get the job done at Almeria.
Farouk.
Yeah, man. Let's sweep the floor with some guys, man. Let's go for some 6-7-0 kind of shit, man.
Yeah, hoping for a 9-0 win. Mariano scoring all 9 goals. So best of luck to everybody. If there is any updates, we'll put it out on our social media. Our social media links are in the description. Please consider following us, and Hala Madrid.
Hala Madrid.